Hi, how are you? Sylvia here. So today Auntie and I are having a chat, and my guides have suggested that we chat about galactic and all that that means. Being aware that for many people it is a new area of energies and something to consider as part of life on Earth. Great. So I'll just tune in. Greetings, greetings, greetings. Yes, we are here with you.
This conversation is basically about galactic energies, or galactic, the word galactic. Can you sort of help us to sort of explore that word and what it means to other people and what it means to you, and how Sylvia is bringing that channeling entities through?
Yes, indeed. Well, galactic is the essence of who we are, meaning we are not existing in the third dimension on planet Earth. Galactic refers to all life that happens literally in the solar system and galactic systems beyond Earth. Of course, for many, they may still think there is no life other than that on Earth, and they may think there is perhaps only one galaxy, whereas we are aware that science and physics have now proved that there are infinite number of galaxies, and they will be constantly evolving in space and time. And Earth is just part of one small solar system, one small galaxy, which is part of infinite numbers of galaxies. Within our galaxy on planet Earth, there are the planets of the solar system and the planets that we see in the sky, the stars in the sky, the planets, and the formations. And some of these, such as, for example, the Seven Sisters, the Pleiades, are also the home of races, for example, known as the Pleiadians, or the star Sirius also is the home of the Sirians, and the planet Arcturus, the Arcturians, etc. So when we say galactic, we mean life other than that on Earth. Now, in response to the rest of your questions about how Sylvia brings this energy in, it is probably necessary to explain that, as you know, extraterrestrial life has been promoted on planet Earth by Hollywood and such, much of which is indeed negative. Forces that will overtake or that human beings have to be afraid of. We are also aware that in the hearts of many humans, especially the younger generations on planet Earth, there is indeed a knowing and an understanding that there are beneficent star nations at work and present, or should we say working on Earth's behalf at this time. There have been, of course, many galactic rules. There's the Galactic Codex, which states that there is a non-interference rule, that races beyond planet Earth must not interfere with the development of planet Earth, which is why many of the beneficent races at this time have over the years been wanting to help but been unable to until the current period, which for some would say that we are very much in a period of what is known as galactic warfare at this time. that is a whole other topic. So, just to say, yes, there are the positive extraterrestrials, there are the negative extraterrestrials. Unfortunately for planet Earth, as the history will reveal to its people in weeks and months and years rapidly coming up, the true history of Earth will be known, and it will become evident that many contracts were made by self-seeking governments to allow negative forces access to the planet. And indeed, much darkness has happened as a result of this. And the true history of the human race will reveal this when the time is right. And indeed, if people are hungry and wish to seek more about this, more knowledge about this, it is definitely out there to be found at this time, the true history of humans' interrelationship with extraterrestrial races. For example, the Anunnaki, who are widely understood to have settled planet Earth and to some extent taken over planet Earth, and the many historical races. There are people on planet Earth who are experts in this field. We mentioned one, Ismail Perez, who has written a book, 2 books on the cosmic history of the planet. And people such as him give very good overviews for those who are keen to understand the layers and layers and layers of galactic and involvement that have truly happened on this Earth. In terms of Sylvia's offering and connection, she is in touch and contracted to and linked to only the beneficent races, the guiding races, the guardian races, the highly evolved races who operate in 6th, 7th, 8th and beyond dimensions, who are vastly more advanced than humanity, both in their science, in their spiritual understanding, in their lives. Some of these are more etheric even. They aren't even solidly in the physical. The bodies are no longer solidly in the physical. Some of the more humanoid races of the 5th and 6th dimensions, the beneficents, are actually able to be on planet Earth at this time, walking around as humans, in fact, such as the Pleiadians. These light forces and the Venusians are actually, many are in human form, actually assisting the light forces on planet Earth at this time. Sylvia is channeling the energetics of these races, usually, as you will evidence in her work, for the purposes of them being able to offer us in our human bodies streams of healing from the higher realms, which are able to be received by those who are receptive in their physical body and in their being to receive these higher frequencies at this time. Hoping that is a general answer.
Yes, I think that was great. That covered a lot. So basically, we've not heard a lot about the alien races. There are information coming through, I realise, and you can sort of, if you know where to look on the internet, you can find a lot of this information. Yes, I understand that. But generally, it's not accepted by the governments or released by certain scientific groups because is that a control process, or is that Because I know, basically is that a control process? They're not releasing more information in relation to that space.
Well, yes, indeed, because of course the governments who contracted for their own empowerment, such as that of the Nazi movement and the American government, they, to some extent, wanted to get, as it were, a sort of a in-house contract, and unfortunately, as will be revealed, the deals made were very much to the detriment of humanity. The positive races who were obeying the Galactic Codex of Non-Interference meant that they couldn't necessarily just swoop in and take out these forces of darkness. In answer to your question, whether it is control, the unfortunate reality is that this contract is now ancient, over hundreds of years, thousands of years on the planet, and unfortunately these dominant dark races who came to planet Earth really have been, as it were, running the show. So yes, it has not been available for mainstream news what is really going on here, because of course the level of control has been vast. The good news is that even amongst that there are the channels and the energies and the ones such as Sylvia, who do feel alignment to these higher races and who have been in a much more advanced way probably than Sylvia at this time, been bringing in very advanced levels of guidance and assistance from these beneficent races who have basically kept what we would call the light forces, the beings on the planet who are often called the what are they called, the boots on the ground, as it were, the light workers who are here grounding the energies of the positive galactics, offering deeply important strands of light to the planet at this time, because so much has been hidden from mainstream and secreted and literally under the surface, like metaphorically and literally under the surface of the planet. Much has been going on for a very long time. So as you say, this information is there to be sought out if it is so desired. But the reason why it is not everywhere on the mainstream is that the controlling forces have not wanted it to be everywhere on the mainstream. And to some extent they've wanted to keep the alien card up their sleeve in case they ever need to use it to terrify the masses. So the terrifying, to some extent, has been seeded in many of the Hollywood shows. However, blessedly, the true light energies and much more accurate depictions of life beyond Earth have been revealed, for example, in the Star Wars and these trilogies, these television series have contained much truth, which of course is masquerading again under the banner of sci-fi, but actually which has been presenting to mankind much actually of what is true about life in the galactic regions beyond Earth.
Fascinating. Because I think a lot of it instilling fear with control and propaganda through the media has been widespread. And what's also interesting is a lot of that now is being exposed. And because it's being exposed, people realise that they just don't trust it. They just don't trust the media. They don't trust certain news sources, or you'll see exactly the same newscast read out by different reporters over and over again, so you can sort of see that it's just they're on a script. So what's actually happening is these podcasts and long format ones mainly, where people are interested in a certain topic, can sort of delve in deeper to get an understanding of that sort of space that they're interested in. And I find this whole topic that we're talking about now fascinating, and a lot of people want to know more about it because they realise that there's so much more to just this world, but also further afield, obviously, because I think there's more, is it galaxies than sands, grains in the whole of the world. So
absolutely,
if you're sort of arrogant enough to believe that you're the only person around in every single grain of sand on this earth is actually a galaxy, not just, is just mind blowing.
Of course, and of course the young souls coming in now who are, well, the ones who've been coming in for a long time now, but the ones currently being born in who are the sun children and the rainbow children, of course. Somebody was just saying to Sylvia the other day, they said something to their child when young, and the child said, "Of course there's life on other planets, Mummy." As though, of course, this is not something we even question. So this is sort of evolutionary in the evolutionary of the human race, that these understandings will become more normalized and more mainstream over time. Absolutely, yes. And yes, back to your question.
So if people want to sort of get in touch with either this group or how to go about this sort of channeling, what would be your advice in that sort of space then, maybe?
Well, planet Earth is right on, as it were, the bridge, the time of the bridging, the rainbow bridge into the new world. And we are close to what has long been sought and, craved by these communities, the UFO communities, any alternative communities following these galactic movements, which is called disclosure. And disclosure is a term which is used for telling the truth that there's life on other planets. But disclosure specifically refers to the idea of allowing any information that is out there to move into the mainstream. And to make that acceptable by the mainstream, it would need to be offered by so-called individuals or organizations of repute. And also what is happening currently on Earth is that a lot of these so-called organizations of so-called repute are being exposed to simply not be that. In fact, often to be founded on deep levels of corruption and simply to be facades in many cases. And so the mainstream media or populace isn't, to some extent, got a lot to, shall we say, get their heads around at this time, which is to understand that these trusted structures of government, of health, of even education, etc., are no longer bastions of society which can be silently trusted. In fact, it is a major karmic lesson for mankind, really, to understand that to surrender our power over to any other energy or entity is not acceptable. This is a truth which is at the core of all advanced life, which is that sovereignty belongs to the individual, also responsibility belongs to the individual. From this point to co-creation is possible, and this is how the advanced civilizations on other planets are formed and exist and live their daily lives. This idea of allowing one to become a slave to anybody else's rules or authority, even though it has become normalized on planet Earth, is actually a primitive state of being in the eyes of the more advanced races. And it is seen indeed as quite a tragedy that humanity has had to become journey on this path of sort of devolution to the disconnection from their higher innate frequencies, their divine template, really, and taken so far into these frequencies where they really just not exactly like beasts, because beasts are, of course, very advanced beings, but not far from that, in the sense that they do not understand that it is their right to question their leaders and to use their voices and to speak their truth, and that the power of the individual human being is an immense and powerful thing, which can in its own right create universes, that each human being contains the God spark within them. And so this sense of homecoming to what is truly ours exists in each and every one of us. And the positive galactics, in this energetic way they are communicating with us at this time through channels worldwide, this is simply tuning our frequencies to remember this fact, that we are a divinely encoded race, and our future, in that future we carry our divine expression will manifest, along with gifts and talents and powers that the young ones talk about. This is all in the destiny of the human race in the future. But before the positive energies can flow freely in our being and in our blood, in our human vessels, the netting of the dark forces must all be removed from literally the human body, the human brain, the human heart, that these layers of conditioning and programming that have been enforced on the human race for so long are currently being dismantled and pulled out by our beneficent brothers and sisters. And this is what disclosure will fully liberate within the human. And of course, the powers that be, the darker powers, have not wanted this. This is a very scary thought, to think that the day that humans will wake up to their innate sovereignty is a moment that has been actively repressed, and the dark have done everything in their power to not let this day come. So this is the current trajectory that planet Earth is on, moving towards this reunification with our star families, our star nations, literally our brethren, our literal families that many on planet Earth will be reuniting with in future times.
Very good. It actually reminds me of a book I think called Disclosure, which outlines the government way they will release the UFO story, how they will go about that process. The most fascinating thing, which is really important, is that sovereign individual and freedom of speech. I think these are the two most important things that we have to hang on to and still maintain. But the sovereign individual is interesting because in some of the religious doctrines and books, you're initially pulled apart from that, because you're not, unless you behave yourself, unless you're controlled, you won't go to heaven. Heaven is within you. So that's part of the problem. So I think there's going to be a lot of people who have a problem in this space and realising some of these issues.
Yes, it is a truly inverted reality, is it not, that humans have been living. This is, for some, a complex idea. For those who have been reading a lot of the new material on the internet, this idea that we are living in an inverted reality is now much more familiar to them. But it is what this inversion describes, is that really what is true has been made false and made like a story, and what is false is now masquerading as the truth. Hence confusion in your peoples. Sorry, the last point you made, this one is getting tired now after this morning of channeling.
I just sort of said freedom of speech.
Freedom of speech, yes, and the sovereignty, yes. So this is, as we have said, the spark within the individual which exists deeper than word, but it is an inner recognition that they are more. Their DNA, the actual 12 and 24 and 48 strands of DNA, which are waiting to be awakened, which will be awakened by the time of the so-called shift or the solar flash. These frequencies are existing within the human template and are waiting to come online. And this, of course, is the destiny of the human.
Very good. I'm trying to think.
Yes, no, so I think that given this one is losing energy now, we can just think about anything that you have asked that we can recap on. I feel there was an important point in your last question that this one has not addressed, that we have not addressed for you. But we will just leave it. So we will just recap the points that yes, disclosure is coming, and that the human sovereignty and the human free speech is will be greatly empowered by this once mankind knows the truth of its origins. Once it understands that much has been held back from it, from us, from the people. That there is, however, enormous layers of help for humanity at this time, existing in the beneficent races which have flooded into the galaxy over recent times and are literally moored in space around the planet, watching this incredible and rare moment of ascension on planet Earth. And ascension which really means the movement of a physical movement of planet Earth out of one place in the solar system, in the galaxy, moving through what is called the photon belt, through the remnants of some very dark energies that are situated in the place that the planet is moving through. And as the planet moves on through, Gaia will move into the new Earth. Many say Gaia has already done this transit, and the humans now are just journeying in our own way. We're being held to catch up and carry on. But it is a physical structure that the planet moves through, moves into the golden age, into these higher resonant frequencies existing in a whole other part of the galaxy. This is what lifts planet Earth from the 3D to what is called the 5D, this great shift of ages that we are on. This is in the destiny of many cultures. And because the races which have watched us from afar, who are ourselves, humankind from the future, have returned back to help us. Races which perhaps have karmic ties to us because perhaps they have caused harm or damage, or they feel responsible for a certain stage of humanity's evolution. They are here now to repay the debt. There is much very, very high, the guardian races of the universe itself are here to hold this incredible historic period of Earth, to secure it, to ensure that this time, because it has been tried many other times, and it has not succeeded in moving through into the light, but this time, with this very advanced assistance from all this very high frequency energy of our brothers and sisters of the light, that this is sufficient to take out this reign of darkness that has been on planet Earth, and to allow humanity to move into this long-awaited golden age. And this is the general overview of the presence, why this galactic presence is here on Earth at this time, explaining the dark has always been here and the light has been watching, but now the light are activated and in daily assistance of mankind. And for the individual, this means that when we take time in our meditations to ask for help, literally to call on your guidance teams and your angelic guidance, your ascended master guidance, that these higher frequency guardian races are literally here able to assist us at this time. But according to the rulings, again, they must be asked. They cannot offer their help to us as individuals unless we ask. So this, the reason why Sylvia was advised to do this work, to offer this galactic channeling, was just to allow any individuals who are called to understand that this channel of frequency, this channel to asking for help, that these brothers and sisters are always there to help, that they indeed will be helping and available in the future. So that is the goal of this galactic teamwork at this time that is going on planet Earth. Very good. So we will rest here today. So we offer you all much blessings, and we hope that this offers you some guidance, or at least piques your interest to make you perhaps examine further in your own time. Thank you. Thank you. Blessed be. Thank you.